I just can't believe the Gallery of Magick would share so many secrets. That's how I look at this book. I felt like this book was like, why are you telling everything? Why are you letting it hang in the streets? Why are you just letting everybody just see everything? It's like, to me, this book is a look behind the curtains. It's the building blocks of magic. Hello, darlings. I am Cassandra. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for coming. In this video, I'm doing a book review for Chaos Magick from the Gallery of Magick, the Masterworks of Chaos Magick by Mr. Adam Blackthorne, Practical Techniques for Directing Your Reality. Now, I like to read the back of the book because I feel like it's a very concise summary of the most basic information you're going to need. We'll go over the table of contents, and then and then we're going to jump into a nice, chatty, philosophical look at why I just can't believe the Gallery of Magick would share so many secrets. That's how I look at this book. I felt like this book was like, why are you telling everything? Why are you letting it hang in the streets? Why are you just letting everybody just see everything? It's like, to me, this book is a look behind the curtains. It's the building blocks of magic. It is sharing the secret sauce. And yeah, but anyway, let me go ahead, read the back of the book, go over the table of contents, and then we'll just go into my opinion about the book. So the heart of this book is magic that works. Do you want quick fixes, emergency solutions, direct results, and magic for your exact and immediate circumstances? You get all that in this book. It's ideal for beginners or a new direction for the experienced occultist. Chaos Magick is not about causing chaos with magic. It's about reordering your reality and directing life the way you want. Just like normal magic, but without a lot of the frills. When it was invented, Chaos Magick probably seemed like a great big sloppy madness compared to the refined robes and rituals of old, even though it works. Chaos Magick is meant to be the most practical, simplified, bare bones way to shift reality, but most books give you wild theory and no practical magic. This book changes all that. This book presents a revolutionary style of chaos magic. These ideas are original, direct, and above all practical. If it doesn't work, it isn't magic. Okay? You will discover the secrets of instant alchemy, emotional crafting, and the fire of gnosis. How to generate magical chaos energy to empower all of your workings. This actually, I used the theory, the practice from this book for my jewelry that I make, that to power it up. Sigil Magic Remastered, a completely new way of tapping into the essence of magic. Contacting spirits, detailed instructions for contacting and commanding entities. A unique system for working with the famed Olympic spirits. This time it's easy. Adam Blackthorne writes with warmth and wit. He knows there's nothing quite like doing magic and seeing it work. That's what lies ahead of you. So that's the back of the book, guys. And like I said, I want to just make sure that I give you the information the way the book is presented before I start throwing all my opinions in it, right? Because I want you to make your own decision. Let me see, can I look at the chapters here? We'll take a look together. So for chapter 1, Make Magic Happen. Then we have the first step, Instant Alchemy, the Core of Desire, Emotional Crafting, the Fire of Gnosis, Magical Chaos Energy, Influence Magic, thought forms and the other people, upside down magic, you see the word, guys, I don't want to say it, contacting spirits, Olympic chaos magic, making new magic, the magic of pure invention, and the big picture. So that's the table of contents. Now, I don't know where to start. I'm just going to jump in. It's going to be a little bit all over the place. I personally feel like, okay, this book is just telling everything. Like, it's like this, it's revealing the secret sauce. It's the building blocks of magic. It takes the mystery out of magic. It's like it goes behind the curtains to me. And I feel like this book actually, to me, it validates some theories I have about why certain groups of people are able to oppress and conquer other groups of people. And I've always said it, but this book has actually given me, I don't want to say proof, but it helps me to understand why I feel the way I feel, if that makes sense. And we'll talk a little bit about that. Now, on the back of the book, Mr. Blackthorne says that this book is for beginners and for, what's the other word? And a new direction for the experienced occultist. Let me just say this. I was worried about this book review because I just want to be honest. And I love the Gallery of Magick. I do. I love them. I love every single, I don't even know them, but I love them. And I feel like but I want to be honest. I don't feel like anybody should do this magic who has never done magic before without first doing Magical Protection by Damon Brand. And first, the other book is Words of Power, because I don't know. When I read this book, listen guys, I was not introduced to magic until much later in life. And when I read this book, it was like, to me, this book was more eye-opening, and I was more afraid of this book than the Demons of Magic. By far. Is that weird? I'm being honest. When I read this book, I understood why I accidentally, performed a love spell on someone. I didn't mean to do it though. And but I understood. But I could think of 3 to 5 magical things that I did that I didn't know was magic, by the way, that had the pure emotion, pure intentions. Everything about it was I was reading this book. I said, okay, that's what happened. And then I realized, oh my goodness. Even though, let me say this. Even though, he says that this chaos magic is not about causing chaos, but creating order in your life without the old-fashioned stuff, right? It's not about causing chaos. But I want to tell you, in my opinion, where the chaos comes from. The chaos comes from you performing magic without the guidance of angels or ancient beings who may assist you in overcoming some of your, I don't want to say emotional blocks, but they can see beyond the moment, if that makes sense. You're on your own. That's what I want to say. So if you are a person who has acquired wisdom, you like I would do in Words of Power, I would do the wisdom ritual first. I would make sure that I understand my intuition. I would do the ritual in the 72 Angels of Magic on how to protect yourself from untested magic. We didn't say magic doesn't work, because this magic does work, and I have tried a lot of techniques in this book, and I use this book to charge my jewelry, and I hope, like, listen, this book 100% works. But if you don't know what you're doing, if you are not aware of yourself yet, I'm just I wouldn't, I mean, I'm looking at it from a person who has come into the awareness of magic in my, I would say my late 40s, maybe my early 50s, right? So I didn't know all of this, but I think that if you don't have a good protection system, if you are not like intact with your intuition, if you I don't know, I just think protection, wisdom, intuition, in my opinion, you should have rituals for those things in place first before Chaos Magic. And then when you do Chaos Magic, you're going to really enjoy this book, because you're going to know that, I don't know, see, a part of me want to tell you what I did, and a part of me feel like like I don't want you to know what I did, right? And after reading this book, I was like, oh, okay, that's why I messed up. Because see, listen, I don't like putting my business in the streets, and I wish I had thought to say that, oh, I know a friend or something like that, so you would know. But when you have strong emotions and you write something and you charge it and you don't even realize that you are performing magic, let me just say this. There are several things that I've done that didn't make sense to me, and after reading this book, everything made sense. And I wasn't doing it on purpose per se, but the emotions that I attached to what I was doing was so strong that I can understand why I was able to get those results that were not for my highest good, if that makes sense. That's the cleanest way I can say it. So anyway, this book is Chef's Kiss. I'm telling you, you wouldn't, but I want to talk about something. So he talks about how emotions are the engine of magic, right? And the reason that's interesting to me, because as a sociologist and a psychologist, we talk a lot about how emotions are socially constructed. So society tell you, how you're supposed to feel. When you go to a movie, they cue up the music, like, oh, it's time to be sad. Oh, it's time to be happy. Or the world is always shaping your emotions, so that you can, controlling your emotions, right? But I think that, from reading this book, but just in general, that I'm trying to stay away from controversial topics. Your true emotions is what keep you safe. It stop you from being in toxic or unhealthy relationships. Your true emotions has moved society in directions to, where people were oppressed, and they were no longer oppressed because they realized, like, wait a minute, I don't deserve this, right? And I think that if emotions are the engine for magic, as Mr. Blackthorne say in his book, then I really think that your emotions are tied to Your true emotions are tied to your real desires. But if society has socially constructed your emotions and how you're supposed to feel, I don't think most people even know how they feel. And if you don't, about what it is they truly want, you want what, like, the world may say, oh, well, you want a job being a teacher or a fire person. But then another thing is, sometimes I think that we acquire jobs where we have to turn off our emotions. Like if you're a social worker, or if you're a fire person, if you work in an emergency room. So I think a lot of us are detached from our emotions because either we have a job where we couldn't survive if we could feel the grief or the sadness that was happening, because we need to be practical and logical in order to be effective, right? But I also think that society tell us, because I remember I had a lot of students who would say, I really want to be a teacher, but everybody say teachers don't make enough money. Why would you want to be a teacher? You're going to be broke. You're not going to, all this kind of stuff. So I think that because the world is constantly telling us how we're supposed to feel, I think that I'm gonna take a shot out here, guys. I believe over 80% of the human population is disconnected from their true emotions. They don't even know what it is they truly want out of life, or what they really want to feel, because the world has pretty much harnessed or channeled their emotions into, buying things to make them feel better, buying the latest phone or clothes or cars. And so anyway, long story short is, I totally agree with him, but I think a lot of people aren't aware of their true emotions anymore. And I think getting in contact with those emotions could probably be very traumatic, especially if you're used to smiling on cue. If you have a job working with people, you're considered professional. The word we use, professional, means that I am not showing the world how I truly feel. I'm allowing people to say things to me that are very hurtful, but yet I pretend that they don't hurt, because I am a professional, right? And as a teacher, I've blocked my emotions a long time ago, because I have to be professional. I have to think about how information is going to come across and how people are going to feel about it. So to me, when I started working with the magic from the Gallery of Magick, it's the first time, and we've talked about it in some other videos, that I've really come to realize that I've been detached from my emotions, and in order for my magic to work, I need to get in contact with those emotions, and that has been not it's not that fun, especially when we live in a world that the minute we feel something, we say we have something for you. Here's a pill. Yeah. So your feelings and being able to use that energy to make your magic work, I just think I don't know. I just think that's very important, and that's another reason why I think that before you dive into the book, you should be aware what your true emotions are, because you may manifest things that you're not really aware that you don't really want. I don't know if this makes sense, guys, what I'm saying, but I wanted to speak from my heart. And then the other thing is Mr. Blackthorne. Oh my God. Page 16 gave me chills, and I'm going to tell you why. And I'm going to read a little bit if it's okay. I hope I'm not breaking any copyright. They'll believe me. I'll get a they'll let me know. But he talks about, he said, in Chaos Magick, people have been borrowing beliefs for decades. So this secret is not big news. but I think it's a real time saver to focus on the established beliefs of others and archetypal energies to get the magic going. So basically, he said you don't need to believe what somebody else believes, but if you tap into a belief system, then you can use that belief system to get some of the things you want. He says, but when you need a quick jolt of real magic, you can dip your finger into anything from hoodoo to pagan rites, and the pressure of belief behind the magic will bring you results. Okay, let me just say this. This gave me chills. And I know somebody is probably watching this like, how is that giving you chills? See, what he is saying is that... Okay. I just got to put this in my own words. Now, in this book, he talks about thought forms. He talks about servitors. No, not really servitors. He just mentioned that Damon Brand has a book on how to create servitors. But he has, he talks about how to create thought forms, which is, you'll read it in the book. I don't want to give that away. And he talks about just all these different types of magic. It even touches upon like how to work with the chakra system and create, it's a lot of good stuff in this. But this book is, the pages are, it's not that many pages, but it's jam-packed, right? Now I want to tell you why this book scared. The word scared is not. It gave. I'm looking for the right word for something that is chillingly true, or that, I don't know. Okay, so I don't know the word I'm looking for, but let me tell you how Chaos Magick to me is. I'm gonna say it's, in my opinion, this is their most powerful book. I think it's more powerful than any of the other books. And that's why I was kind of nervous about even reviewing the book, because I don't want to, because I'm saying, look, put some training wheels on first, get your Protection Magic by Damon Brand, do a little bit of the Words of Power. I would first do something for wisdom, or work on my intuition. I would, I wouldn't just dive into this, because this book takes off the training wheels. It takes off the training wheels. There's not going to be any angels holding your hand, baby. You're going to go out here and you can do what you want to do, and you're going to get results. And he's talking about a lot of stuff, and I hope you are wise enough to know what you're doing, and that you want what it is you want, and that you're willing to. When I say this because I'm not. I mean, obviously you can tell that I don't want to tell personal information, but I feel like the personal information is where the credibility lies, right? So I'll just say this. You break up with somebody, you may not be ready. You may need a couple of years to heal before your next relationship. You don't know what you're attracting to yourself sometimes when you do certain things. I don't know. Let me leave that alone. But I'm going to say this. So he says, if you want a quick jolt, just put your finger, just all you have to do is tap into a belief system that already exists. I truly believe this is how people were able to take over the world. Because I would always tell my students, like, if I was going to really just help you because I was a good person, I would just help you. But the first thing they would do is say, here, take my religion, take my God, take my belief system. Because I feel like if you take my religion, you take my God, you take my belief system, then I have harnessed the energy of your soul. I have you now. Because I'm using I'll always call it like your spiritual software, which is your belief system, right? And I'm telling you that pretty much how to feel and how to perceive life beyond the moment. When I give you my belief system, my spiritual belief system, I have conquered your identity, and especially if I can get you to believe it. So I've always felt that way. And one of the things I always talked about was how successful, I want to say, I'm trying not to get this video. What is the word? You know what I'm saying, blackballed or whatever. So I'm trying to watch what I say. I'm just going to say certain ethnic groups were able to succeed even through some of the most horrible conditions because they were able to maintain their religious beliefs. Because your religious beliefs, your entities and spirits and beings from other dimensions who are able to still help you. And I think the ones who were not able to retain that belief system, their spirituality, I think that it was easier to conquer them. And I feel like in this book, Chaos Magick, even though he doesn't go into any of these details, he just says if you want some real magic, just step into a belief system that already exists. Now, the way I like to explain it to my students, and I don't talk about it from a magical perspective, is that when we talk about in sociology, like the belief in a flag, the reason it means so much to people is because just think of it as every time we give our attention or belief to something, we give it energy. We kind of so imagine we're all human batteries, right? And we all have energy. And whenever we give our belief to something, we power it up. We make it because of our belief, because of the energy that we give it. Because if people are praying to the flag, if people are honoring the flag, if people are giving the flag, now that's giving the flag energy and making the flag a very powerful symbol. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So imagine that, when you, how do I say this? When he talks about thought forms, and he talks about doll magic, the thing is this, guys, he to me explains sociology from a magical perspective and why humans influence each other on a consistent basis. And the more energy we give to any concept or any person or any belief, the more powerful it becomes. And when we tap into a belief that has been established by society, we have access to that power. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's what I got out of this book. This is, to me, the most powerful book that the Gallery of Magick created in terms of understanding magic, being able to create magic. I've used several of the rituals in this book. I know these rituals work 100%, but like I said, you don't have your training wheels. There are no angels. The angels are not coming to comfort you, or ancient beings with more wisdom than you aren't just telling you to get out of here or not showing up or not coming. It's not like that. It's kind of like you're the magician and here is the power. I really hope this video helps someone. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing your darlings in the next video.